Hello, friends, and welcome back to Forest Friends. I am Mrs. Sapp, and I'm so glad you're joining me again today. We'll be reading a new story from our Forest Friends series, and our story for today is called Building Bridges. Before we get started, let's see if you remember our characters from the last time we met. Let's review who we met and add some fun to it. We met Gina Giraffe. Can you stretch way up high like a giraffe, like you're collecting leaves from tops of trees? Let's do it. Reach nice and tall up in the air and get those leaves. We also met Robert Rabbit. Can you hop up and down as quickly as you can? Let's go. We also met Charlie Chipmunk. Can you puff your cheeks out big and wide as if you have a lot of acorns stuffed inside? Try it. Can you scamper up a tree? Squirrels are very fast. Let's try to scamper up a tree like Sally Squirrel. Ready? Climb that tree. We also met Marvin Mouse. Can you squeak like a mouse and eat some cheese? Ready? Let's go. Squeak, squeak. Now that we are all warmed up, let's get to our focus for today. Today, we'll focus on problem and solution. A problem is something that is difficult or hard to deal with, and you have to overcome it. A solution is how you fix or solve that problem. Have you ever had a problem that you needed to fix quickly? I think we all have. One thing I think of is like if you spill milk or juice or water, that's a big problem. And what did you do to fix this? I'm hoping you asked an adult to help you, or grabbing paper towels or tissues to clean up. Problem solved. Let's look at a couple more examples of problems and solutions before we dive into our story. Here we have a problem. It is raining, and the girl is getting all wet. A way to solve that problem, a solution, is to get an umbrella. Here's another problem. It's very cold outside. Sometimes there's more than one way to solve a problem. One solution that this girl could do is put on some gloves and a hat. Another thing she could do is drink some hot cocoa. So let's read Building Bridges and find out what problem our forest friends are facing. We will stop, think, then answer questions along the way. Let's get started. One bright morning, full of cheer, 4 dear friends were gathered near. Marvin Mouse, so small and bright, Sally Squirrel, quick and light, Gina Giraffe, so strong and spry, and Robert Rabbit hopping by. Do you notice a forest friend that hasn't appeared yet? Let's stop, think, then answer. Charlie Chipmunk hasn't joined our adventure yet. I wonder if he'll show up later. We haven't quite come up to a problem yet, so let's keep reading. Beside a stream so wide and blue, they have a tricky task to do. They long to reach the meadow bright, but crossing here just wasn't right. Then Sally pointed, "Look, I see a pile of logs, both strong and free. But oh, dear friends, they're not quite right to build a bridge both firm and tight. We need 10 logs in every group to make the bridge safe for our troop." The friends agreed, 10 logs will do. to cross the stream and make it through? Let's stop, think, then answer. Do our forest friends have a problem? Yes, they do. Our friends are wanting to get to the meadow, but there's a stream in their way. They can't get across the stream without the help of a bridge. They need a bridge that is firm and tight so they can safely cross. This does sound like quite a problem. I want you to make a prediction. What do you think our forest friends can do to get across the bridge safely? Your idea just might work. Let's keep reading. Marvin squealed, "This is our chance. Let's use our minds to take a stance. A number bond can show us how to fix these logs. We'll do it now. One pile has 7. That's not quite 10. How many more? Let's count again." Gina Giraffe stood tall and free and counted slowly, 7 and 3. They gathered 3 and stacked them high. Now one pile almost reached the sky. Then Robert Rabbit, full of cheer, turned to the pile that seemed unclear. "This one has 3. It needs some more. To make it 10, let's check the score." Sally Squirrel clapped with glee. "We need to add a 7, see?" With both piles set, 10 logs in each, the sturdy bridge was in their reach. They lined them up side by side and built a bridge with beaming pride. Oh yay! They got the 10 logs that they were needing for their bridge to get to the meadow. Did they fix their problem? I sure hope so. Let's find out if they can get to the meadow now. The friends stepped back. Their work was done. The bridge looked strong. It weighed a ton. But as a deer stepped on to try, the bridge let out a wobbly sigh. Sally Squirrel cried, "Oh no, please say it isn't so. The bridge is still not quite right. It needs more strength to hold it tight." Was the problem solved? Were they able to get safely across to the meadow? Sadly, they weren't able to. The bridge just wasn't quite right. Sometimes when you have a problem, it takes time and you have to find more than one way to solve or fix your problem. I sure hope our forest friends do not give up. Let's see if they have another solution or way to fix their problem. Marvin thought a moment, then declared, "With teamwork, we won't be scared." Sally Squirrel wove some twigs in place to help the logs hold tight, strong with grace. Gina Giraffe pressed the bridge down flat so every log stayed right where it sat. Robert Rabbit hopped from end to end, checking spots that would not bend. Did our forest friends give up? No! They used teamwork and each did something to help fix the problem. Sometimes problems are easier to fix when you have someone else's help. Do you feel like you have to solve a problem all on your own? Sally Squirrel wove the bridge tighter. Sally Squirrel used twigs between the logs to make them stronger. Gina Giraffe helped to make the bridge more flat, and Robert Rabbit was the tester to see if it held strong. Oh, I sure hope all of this hard work pays off for the team. Let's see if they can finally get to that beautiful meadow. And Marvin Mouse, tiny, scurried below to find small gaps that wouldn't show. At last the bridge stood firm and tall. The deer crossed safely. That was all. He gave a nod, then trotted through, and all the friends cheered, Yahoo! Their hard work did pay off. The deer was able to cross safely to get to the meadow. This means our friends can safely pass as well. All the friends shouted, Yahoo! On the count of 3, let's shout a big Yahoo. 1, 2, 3, Yahoo! Marvin grinned. Now don't you see? We made it work, just you and me. Like number bonds, when parts combine, great things happen, we all shine. Gina Giraffe chuckled. That's so true. Each of us had a job to do. Sally Squirrel cheered, and when we share, we solve hard problems everywhere. Let's review what we learned about today. A problem is something that is hard to deal with, and you need to overcome it. A solution is how you fix your problem or make it better. The problem in today's story was the forest friends could not get across the meadow. The solution to their problem, or how they fixed it, was to build a strong and sturdy bridge. What lesson or moral do you think we can learn from today? Let's stop, think, then answer. Did you say it's better to work together? Or did you say anyone can help no matter their size? Even our smallest friend, Marvin Mouse, was able to help make the bridge better and safer. Before we meet again, I want you to think about some problems that you have had. You might even have a problem before we meet again. Think of how you can solve your problem in a safe way. And it's okay to make mistakes. We can always learn from them. Now that we've seen our forest friends work together to solve their bridge problem and safely cross over to the meadow, let's work together to practice solving some problems of our own. Remember, a problem is something that is difficult or hard to deal with. A solution is how you solve or fix that problem. Let's practice real quick. Here is a problem. Let's see if you can guess the correct solution for the problem. Our problem is, you are scared of the dark. How would you solve your problem? Stay up all night? Get a blanket? Use a night light? Scream really loud. Staying up all night would just make you tired the next day. I'm not sure that would solve your problem. Getting a blanket would make you feel nice and comfy and warm, but it's still dark and you'd still be scared. Using a nightlight just might fix your problem. That would add some light so you wouldn't be so scared. But let's check our last choice. Scream really loud. Being scared of the dark might make you want to scream, but it's not going to solve or fix your problem. So I'm hoping that you thought C, using a nightlight, would fix your problem. Now I'm going to read some scenarios to you. A lot of these events might have happened to you before, or they could happen to you in the future. These problems could occur in the classroom, at home, or on the playground. You never know when a problem might arise. Remember, when you solve a problem, there isn't always one right way to fix it. You also don't want to accidentally make a problem even worse. Try to stay as calm as possible. But the most important thing is never be afraid to ask someone for help. Our forest friends couldn't have solved their bridge problem alone. There is always power in numbers. Even our smallest friend, Marvin Mouse, was able to contribute and help get his friends safely across the bridge into that beautiful meadow. Let's jump into some problems. We will stop, think, then answer how you could solve the problem. Here we go. Your best friend has a brand new toy at recess that you really like. You ask your friend nicely if you can take it and play with it, and they tell you no. How might you solve this problem? Stop, think, then answer. There is more than one way to solve this problem. You could ask to share the toy with your friend instead of just taking it. Sometimes it's more fun to play with someone else anyways. This way you both could have fun. Another option is you could ask to play with the toy a little bit later. I know when I get something new, I don't always want to share right away. It's always important to consider other people's feelings as well as your own. However, we definitely would not want to fight and try to take the toy from our friend. This just isn't nice and would just make the situation even worse. Let's tackle another problem together. At school, you and your friend discuss having a play date at your house over the weekend to play some basketball. You go home and ask your parents, and they tell you no. Now you are mad. How might you solve this problem? Let's stop, think, then answer. The first thing you might do is take a few deep breaths to calm yourself down. Remember, feelings are okay. It's all about how you deal with them. Let's take some deep breaths together now. Let's take a deep breath in. And now breathe out. Let's do it again. Take a deep breath in. And now let it out. Next, you might do an activity to get your mind off of your problem. You could read a book, color, or write in a journal. You might start to realize that your problem isn't that bad after all. After you're nice and calm, maybe you could ask your parents if there's another day or another weekend that would work better for your friend to come over. Maybe your parents said no because you already had other plans that you might not have known about. This way you could work with your parents instead of against them. Let's continue. It is silent reading time at school. You are sitting quietly on the carpet reading your favorite book. All of a sudden, the person next to you starts poking you. It is starting to annoy and bother you. How might you solve this problem? Stop, think, then answer. Someone poking me would really annoy me too. It also might make me angry. Instead of poking your classmate back, you could politely ask them to stop. Use your strong voice and tell them you don't like it. If your classmate still doesn't stop, find your teacher or an adult. I bet they could get your classmate to stop poking you so that you can get back to enjoying your book. Let's try another problem together. It is finally test day in math. You have studied so hard for your test over addition and subtraction. However, during your test, you noticed your neighbor leaning over and trying to look at the answers on your test. Let's stop, think, then answer. How would you solve this problem? One thing you might do is try to cover your paper or shift your body so your classmate can't see your test. You could whisper to your classmate and say, "Please keep your eyes on your own paper. We're supposed to be doing our own work." If your classmate continues to try to look at your paper, raise your hand and ask for help. I'm sure your teacher would help you solve your problem in a peaceful way. Maybe they could move you somewhere else so you could finish your test without wandering eyes. Try not to yell at your classmate. This could just make the problem worse, and instead of them getting in trouble, you both could get in trouble, and I know that nobody wants that. Let's look at one last problem together. An older student has been bothering you on the playground. They take the swing that you are on. They follow you around and call you names. You haven't done anything wrong. And you just want them to leave you alone. You are so confused and hurt. I'd be confused too. Why is this person all of a sudden bothering me? The first thing I do is use my strong voice and ask the student to stop. If the student does not stop, I would find a trusted adult like my teacher to help me. I would not bother the kid, yell at them, or push them. That would not be the right way to solve this problem. You did such a great job of thinking of ways to solve these problems. It's okay if you thought of something differently than me. Just always remember to try to make good decisions when solving your problems. I'm Mrs. Sapp, and I'll see you next time.